And we're back with another episode. Back to back.
Kyle, press the thing on your microphone. Slide it up.
Back-to-back weeks.
Back to back.
That's good. Good for our listeners.
Yeah.
Consistency. That's how you build content.
People have been signing the DM, say they're happy it's back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had too many, unfortunately.
I got a lot, so it's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Kind of a low-key weekend, fight weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching the fights at home, though.
Fight night.
People sometimes complain about the cards. I never do. I like every fight card. I don't care who's fighting.
Yeah, I've said this so many times when it's a card where I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, there's not a lot of people I really know or fights I know. Those are usually like the better cards. And once I start watching them, I'm like, oh yeah, I have seen this person fight before when they start talking about them. There's just so many fights, so many fighters. It's hard. We watch all of them and it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
But they're always good.
This was like a card, a lot of obviously Brazilian fighters, but there's a couple of fights worth talking about, I think. Start Angela Hill had a good win.
Yeah.
It's nice whenever I like fighters like that who fight consistently. She kind of gets mixed results, but she seems to be someone who has like a big belief in herself and always keeps getting better or at least staying the same.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like age has affected her at all.
I agree.
And I like that. I think it's inspiring. I think she's 38 now, but she looked probably like the best I've seen her. But she's fought like a whole gamut of opponents.
She's literally fought everyone.
Like she's fought like the very top of the food chain in the weight class, and then this person I didn't know. So that's kind of unusual. You don't really see that. Sometimes people get on that path where they'll win one or two, then lose, then win one or two, then lose, and then they stay about the same. They don't really fight higher in the ranks. But she seems to be just down to fight anyone.
Oh, for sure.
Give her opponents really difficult opponents, and then she'll, maybe lose to a top opponent, but then she beats everyone she's supposed to. But so I think that's an important person in that division.
I think she has the most female fights. I think this is her 22nd or 23rd UFC fight, which is crazy. And I think people forget she was in the UFC, then got cut, then fought in Invicta, and then got back into the UFC.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
No, she's definitely the female cowboy.
You think?
I think so. I mean, she fights all the time.
He did the same thing. He kind of fought up and down the roster.
Yeah.
Guys,
I mean,
kind of lower ranked guys, then he fought the best of the best. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I mean, I definitely think she is.
Yeah, you're
right.
And,
I think she's the type of personality, too. Like, everyone that meets her likes her. She's super likable. I think she's hilarious. But, yeah, she seems to just keep improving. I don't think age is a factor with her. I think a good thing for her is that she can make weight pretty easily. So she's always down for short notice fights because she'll say yes to everything and she can take a fight short notice. So she's probably gets paid pretty good just based off
through
of
consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for her. But it is probably, I'm sure she trains very consistently as well. Because to defy age, not that she's crazy old, but it's definitely getting older. But to keep making progress as you get
23 UFC fights and you're staying the same. You're not going down at all.
Yeah, so that was impressive. I was happy to see her get a win. I don't know her, but it was impressive. Good win. The next fight I want to talk about, it was I thought a great fight. It was on the undercard. I was kind of surprised it was on the undercard because they're both, relatively big names. But Dos Santos versus I'll probably get this wrong, but Fakhretdinov.
Oh yeah.
But he went out there and looked amazing. Dropped him. And Dos Santos has a win. Actually, I didn't know this, but has a win over Sean Strickland, which is pretty impressive. I know it was a while ago, but Sean Strickland doesn't have too many losses. But he went out there and looked amazing. And then Dos Santos just kept getting up, and it was really impressive because he'd get dropped or taken down and was getting dominated on the bottom. And I think 2 or 3 times he used a Kimura, threatened a Kimura and came up with it and got the escape. You don't see that work too often.
No, usually when we were watching the fights, I said it when he went for it the first time. I'm like, ugh, why do people do that? It doesn't work. It's so stupid. And then he got up and I was like, Oh, okay, never mind. Works for him. And then he did it again.
Yeah, he must have like a really good Kimura because it wasn't like in a position where you typically would get a finish, but he used it to get up to his feet and then escape from a guy who was like a fucking blanket on top. Like he had no space. But so that was pretty cool. And then he just weathered the storm and then got that 10-8 in the third. And he definitely could have finished. The ref even probably could have stopped it, but that 10-8 round going for the finish got him a 10-8 round. And then when you get dominated for the first 2 rounds, a draw seems a lot better than a loss.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it felt like both those guys. I'm surprised. I don't think they got a bonus. I thought that was an amazing fight.
Yeah, but the other fight of the night was a little bit better.
See, I don't think so. We'll talk about that fight, but like when I think of fight of the night, I think of like equal performances.
Yeah.
If someone gets finished, I don't typically think of that as a fight of the night. We'll talk about that fight.
Yeah. But I think and this is why being a fighter, why I think like watching fights is a big part of training. We talked about this before. How like we watch fights all the time, we talk about it, and I'm like not just watching it like a casual, I'm like studying the fights and what different things people do, and it's good things that like that fight was a perfect example where okay, if you're down by like you're down by 2 rounds or you think you are going into that third round, obviously everyone knows, okay, I'm probably down 2 fights, I got to go for the finish. But also knowing it's like a good reminder to also have in the back of your head, like if you feel like say it's like striking and even if you're like, you know, you're not getting any like powerful shots off and you think like in your head, you're like, ugh, well, like, I don't think I'm going to knock him out. Like I haven't gotten really that close to it, but still going for that dominant win. And even if you can't, you try to finish. And if you can't finish, you try to at least get that 10-8 round because the next best thing is to get a draw rather than a loss. So I think that just watching the fights, that was like a good reminder. I mean, you never want to think like, oh, how do I get a draw? But in that situation, you know, things don't go your way. You're down 2 rounds. That if you feel like you can't get that finish, to still have that motivation to go for that 10-8 round. And then going for the 10-8 round, you're probably going for the finish. They kind of go together. But knowing that like you're getting that, you might be able to get the draw, which is the next best thing.
Yeah, and whenever it seems like a draw happens, it's always part of an exciting fight.
Yes.
You know, you don't look at like, oh, I only got a draw. Like as a spectator, I feel like both those guys looked amazing. So, so it was a good outcome for both the guys. The next fight I want to talk about was Caio Barilio. I don't know how to say his name. Do you know? Sorry.
No.
But
he fought. Was it Fight Nerd?
Yeah, the Fight Nerd. He fought
That's easy to
Magomedov.
Yeah.
And Magomedov kind of looked exactly the same as the only other time I saw him fight was when he fought Sean Strickland. And he came out and he's like big and imposing, is moving forward. And I thought he looked like great. I was like, oh, wow, this is a tough fight. He looked a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And the one time Kyle shot on him and he like stuffed it like so bad, like his face went into the mat. I was like, oh, shit. Because that guy relies a lot on grappling.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is going to be a tough fight. But about midway through the second round, it looked like a completely different fighter.
Yeah.
Pieced apart. And then by the third round, it was like a dominant third round. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, he's going to finish him. And he almost did. But now he has, the Fight Nerd has, I think that was his 5th or 6th win in a row. But he hasn't fought like a huge name yet. But he's looked amazing every single fight. We actually spent some time with him last time we were in Vegas. He's like a great guy, but he's
like
obsessed with fighting.
The nicest guy ever. We were at a viewing party for UFC, and then we like missed the bus or shuttle or something going back. We were looking for Ubers, and he was going out, and he had a car because he was there. He rented a car, and he gave us a ride back. So it was kind of funny. But he was like the nicest guy I've ever met.
Yeah, he's got like tattooed neck and stuff. He looks kind of like scary, but he like,
looks super
such
scary.
A great guy, such a nice guy. But I was really happy to see him win.
Yeah,
he looked amazing, and he called out Duplessis. I don't think he'll get that fight, but I would imagine he'll fight someone very highly ranked, probably maybe someone more like Cannonier or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a guy who's ranked like 4th or 5th, but he can absolutely be a champion. He looked like
Yeah.
amazing. His footwork is so good, and his grappling's obviously amazing. But his like boxing looked so slick. I didn't know he was like that type. He was fought him southpaw too, which I don't think he usually does.
No, I think they said like maybe he went southpaw to like slow him down, and it definitely worked that way. Because then I'm like, well, now that he's southpaw, I feel like he's not really landing any punches, in the earlier in the fight, but it definitely threw off the other guys.
Magomedov.
Yeah, getting them all confused. So it threw off his game a little bit, slowed him down, and he did. I think the commentators even talked about it. How he talks about how he really implements different strategies and styles for each fight. And it was funny. Like, there was a couple moments in the fight where we looked, and I'm like, you said it too. He was kind of doing a little bit of Sean Strickland like movements, and I was like, yeah, he was. The way he was like crossing his hands, almost like in that boxing
Philly
style. Yeah, what is it?
They call it the Philly shell.
Yeah. He was kind of doing that a little bit, and he never does that. And I thought that was an interesting thing too, to like look at what another fighter does and how that works against someone, and then using that. But yeah, the fact that he can like implement different game plans means he's very well rounded, and I think that'll help him in the next step up in competition.
And his like footwork looked amazing. Like
Mhm.
you don't see a ton of fighters like weaponized footwork. Like
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah.
Like using footwork, because it's like when you watch fighting, you just look at kicks and punches, but
Mhm.
footwork really keeps you in fights sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you're not standing in the center just trading and like taking punishment. Like he didn't really get hit clean too many times at all. And then the person's like almost like not chasing you, but trying to keep up with that type of footwork. And it looked like that partly got him fatigued because he wasn't landing anything. And Fight Nerd was still really like fresh going into the third, and then kind of really picked him apart in the third. He looked amazing. But I think that a next fight and playing matchmaker would be like Jared Cannonier. And again, Cannonier's really big and he's not huge, but just with his like so many different weapons, I think that would be a great fight. Because I don't think that he'll get that Duplessis fight just yet. Maybe one more, and then he's probably like 2 fights away from like a title shot.
Yeah, he's definitely like a fan favorite too. When we did like the UFC at the Fan Expo and we did like signings, there was a whole bunch of fighters, and like people went crazy for him, like all the fans.
He's real recognizable. I think that helps.
Yeah.
But then the next fight that I was like most excited for, and I never even heard of the opponent, and I've watched a lot of fights.
Mm-hmm.
But Bon Fee has been like murdering everybody. He has a great guillotine. He's like looks amazing. I think he had 3 UFC fights, but looked amazing every fight. But he fought Dalby, and I was like, I never even heard of this guy. He was like 38 years old, and I hadn't heard of him. And he's from like Denmark or something. But I mean, he's had UFC fights, so I don't know how I missed him.
Well, when they showed highlights, they showed him with like the first edition Reebok outfit on, so he was like, he's been fighting for a while. Like,
yeah.
But I didn't remember him.
But he just blitzed Bon Fee. Like Bon Fee is super slick on his feet and a fantastic grappler with like amazing submissions. But he like just blitzed him on his feet, and then he got put down a couple times and just was kind of getting dominated on the ground, positionally at least.
Mm-hmm.
But he just kept coming up and kept coming up and kept coming up, and then he pressed him against the cage eventually and started landing knees and elbows, and he got like an amazing finish after getting kind of dominated for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But it was super impressive because that Bon Fee, like he was the co-main event. He's only had a few UFC fights, but it definitely seemed to be like someone who they wanted to like push.
Yeah.
Like after this fight, he probably would have, got a really big fight. He had all finishes before this, undefeated. But that fight got fight of the night, where I think that that's a performance of the night, because he did spectacular, right? The other guy got finished, but the other guy looked really good. But
I think they both do. They're both have arguments for fight of the night. I don't think of performance, but definitely, I don't know.
He was like a 5-1 underdog and got,
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it's great to get a bonus and get a huge win. But super impressive. Again, he was 38 years old too.
Yeah.
But he looked like difficult to beat. Just his pace and how much he moved forward
and just like
so aggressive.
stayed like even he just kept the going forward no matter what. Like he didn't get discouraged when he would like get taken down or anything. He just kept going forward the entire time. It's hard to do that when it's like not really working out for you.
Right.
And then to keep doing that, it's hard not to be like step back and be like, wait, this isn't working. What else should I do? Should I try something? Either try something else, or you stay back and you're like, what should I try? And then all of a sudden time's going away. He just kept going. He's like, whatever, just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive.
Yeah.
Then the main event. It was an unusual fight.
Yeah. It was like, I love Derek Lewis, of course, but I think I like him on the mic more than necessarily fighting. But yeah, it was just a weird fight. Yeah, I just think it's really interesting how his face expression never changes and throughout the whole fight. He's fully mounted and he's just like dead face the entire time.
Yeah, it's just so he's such a unique fighter that him being mounted for 22 minutes, but the entire time you're thinking if he gets out and lands one punch, it'll be like the greatest knockout victory ever. And you waited for that to happen until like the last bell went off.
I think normally I do with that. With this fight, halfway through the second round, I was like, he's not going to knock him out. Because it was almost like after he got taken down first time, that, who's the other guy? What was his name?
What is his name? Almeida. Gelatin Almeida.
Yeah,
Gelatin
I didn't even
Almeida.
know him, but
yeah.
he, like, I felt like it was one of those situations where he felt like, okay, he swings, I shoot, and he, like, got the timing down, so it was just, like, anytime he moved, he just shot. And after the second round, I was like, well, if he just swings, he's going to get taken down right away. It's so weird. He must be super flexible because every time he gets taken down, like, he, like, falls back on his knees, and I, like, every time I think he's, like,
it does look like
knee is going to blow out. It's like he falls back like kind of like a chubby girl.
Yeah, the one time Derek Lewis was on top, Almeida was in like a deep half guard situation,
Yes.
and he swept him, and I was like, oh, he blew his knee out. But he's not. He's so big, but he must be like crazy flexible.
And I think must be like maybe in training he's comfortable on bottom because he doesn't obviously.
Well, obviously that's kind of Derek Lewis's thing.
Yeah, he doesn't fight, but he like didn't do it. But something about him is like, I mean, Almeida couldn't really land. He had him fully mounted, couldn't land punches. He even like was mounting him at one point and then just stood up, which like I know that a lot of times, and I think he started figuring it out accidentally and then figured it out later on that going from half guard was better.
Mm-hmm.
Because from half guard, from mount, it's like really hard to punch the person. I remember in one of my fights, I was mounting and they're like, in the whole like in the corner, everyone's like, just go. And I'm like, no, if I like, I'm fighting so much to stay on mount that if I come up to start punching, I'm going to get like bucked off. Like It's almost like that's what they're waiting for. So it like looks like you're not doing anything, just holding them out. And it's like, no, I'm fighting just to hold the position. That's why I like half guard is better for ground and pound. At least for mount, you can work on like trying to maybe take the back a little bit. But I think that for him, he was even mounting and sitting up and he like still couldn't punch him just because Derek Lewis would just stiff arm straight up and push him. He must be like, it must be one of those weird things. Like I've been like that in certain positions with certain people that are like really good. And I'm like, what I normally do here doesn't work on that one person.
Well, everyone is giving Almeida such a hard time about like not doing much from the mount, but he obviously, I mean, I think he's finished every one of his UFC fights, usually with submissions or ground and pound, but he must have felt something that is super unusual. Like you said, like he felt like if he did anything, Derek Lewis would just escape. So I don't really fault him. I mean, you have to get the win, and he dominated like one of the best guys in the UFC for 25 minutes. I don't really fault him for that.
No. And that's another thing. You have to be disciplined, and it's really hard to be disciplined for 25 minutes. Hard to be disciplined for 3 rounds, let alone 5 rounds where you're in that same position. It's easy to get frustrated and then just start to do something stupid. Even like in one of the rounds, the ref was yelling at him to do something and he's yelling at the ref. And then once the ref was like telling him like, you got to do something, then he started punching and then Derek Lewis got right out.
Right.
So he's like, okay, what if he would have got out and then stood up and then got knocked out and lost the fight? That's why it's like sometimes you can't, like, even if the ref's saying that, you have to know, like, in the moment of the main event, like what I'm doing isn't wrong. Like I'm holding this position and I'm not going to just go crazy at this moment because if I do, then he's going to escape and then I could stand up and get knocked out.
Yeah.
But like they were really tough on him. I'm like, he dominated him the whole 5 rounds. Like
He did amazing.
like killed him, just totally dominated him. And like people were, I felt bad for him because that's such a dominant win, and to not get the credit you deserve, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. But he's an incredible grappler. His takedowns are so amazing. I think he's going to be hard for anyone to really beat. But it reminded me, though, just how good Daniel Cormier was.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Cormier fought Derek Lewis. And, again, he was a lot smaller than Derek Lewis. And he took him down, got his back, rear naked choke, like instantly. It looked like effortless.
Yeah.
Like no problem whatsoever. And this guy is like an insane grappler, like
really good
super high level jiu-jitsu. And he didn't come close. I mean, I guess that one arm triangle was probably close, but he couldn't even come close to submitting him. Daniel Cormier took him down, got his back, strangled him. I think he didn't even have hooks in.
Yeah.
But just like choked him out, no problem.
I saw a clip from DC this week or something where he was talking about how like everyone like John and you guys gotta stop talking about like, oh, DC, you should come back, you do it again. He's like, I tried sparring this week for the first time. He's like, a couple guys were at the gym. He's like, I tried sparring. He's like, there's no way I could ever do it again. He's like, I was so tired. But he's like he's so humble, you know what I mean?
DC definitely does that on purpose. Like he's so humble, and he's like the opposite of some other like former fighters that are commentary now that talk about themselves a lot.
I hate that.
DC is the most flattering, most humble person ever.
If you didn't know, you would like not even know that he was a fighter, let alone like one of the greatest fighters ever.
Yeah, but if he were to come back, if he were to like train, I mean, you can't just come off this fucking couch and spar like the best guys in the world. But if he trained and got in shape, he probably would be still one of the very best guys.
Yeah, just based off of like his level. So
I mean,
such a big gap.
I would think that he would beat that guy.
Yeah,
I would think. Is Almeida taking DC down? Probably not.
Right.
If he was in shape. But I mean, it takes a lot to get in shape and not get injured.
Yeah.
That
especially if you take the time off, take the time off with age. Yeah.
Years off, and you're older. Like the fight, he would probably be able to do, but like the training camp, he'd have to do real calculated. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I remember I heard a story one time about like I think it was Dan Henderson, and towards the end of his career, I think he just like rode the Airdyne bike.
Yeah.
To like lose weight and get in shape.
Well, that's like where the
you
whole
get to a point where you don't spar, you're not really working on anything. You just got to make weight and be in shape and healthy.
Yeah.
And when your skills are like Daniel Cormier or Dan Henderson, you don't really need to like build new skills for like one fight.
Well, that's where the whole like the whole idea of like not sparring as much came into play from older fighters that had already been through so much and then already kind of like are capped out at like their skill set, and you know, like that, where they're a little bit older, they have to worry about getting hurt, they don't really need to spar, they just get in shape. And then now it's funny because now I see like the next generation of like younger fighters where they're like, oh yeah, I don't spar a lot, it's not good for you. I'm like, no, you stop sparring when you've sparred like a certain amount of your lifetime.
Then it's about like body preservation.
Yes, yeah. When you're worried about like getting hurt all the time, then maybe it's
but if
different.
you're like on like regional scene,
regional scene or like
yet, or like your first couple UFC,
there's amateurs, regional, like regional scene is amateurs.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, even if it's but like it's still amateurs. And then even early on in the UFC, there's just, especially some of these guy divisions, like it's so deep, you know.
I mean, Sean Strickland says he only spars.
Yeah.
I don't think he does pads or anything.
Yeah.
He just spars.
Yeah. I'm definitely biased because I just love sparring and I think it's like so important. I think like sparring and going live, I feel like there's like no substitute for it.
When you say going live, you mean like jiu-jitsu, wrestling? Like
yeah, like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, like, and I'm not talking like jiu-jitsu where you go and you go into a class and you like pull guard and you play on your back. Like I'm talking like hard grappling wrestling, like you're fighting to stay on top, like where it's like as intense as sparring is.
Yeah, because like when you weren't like getting ready for a fight, your jiu-jitsu training is more like
Oh my
playful.
gosh, it's
right?
different. Yeah,
And you don't even get tired. You could do like 10 rounds, right?
Oh yeah, I could do
you
so
do
many
less
rounds
as you're getting ready for a fight, but much
but
more
way more
intense.
tired. Yeah, and there's like certain people that I know. Like if I go with them, like I'll go with them when I'm in camp because it's like high pace, hard fighting, and then like you know what I mean. If I'm not in camp, then I'm like
And you're like throwing up triangles.
yeah, I'm doing lots of triangles, like playing in playing in the legs.
Playing in the legs.
Yeah,
like you're grappling like Zane.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Zane might start striking?
Is Zane healthy enough to strike?
I'm healthy. My doctor cleared me 3 weeks ago.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
HIPAA.
Is it a HIPAA violation if we talk about this?
I have to sign somewhere.
Too
No,
bad.
seriously.
We got to talk about it.
What do you mean it's a HIPAA
Well,
violation?
HIPAA went away with
Zane's
COVID.
life is our listener's life.
No, it's
So
not.
we had a big scare in the Burning the Boats community. Zane, you wanna tell your journey?
I
What
guess.
day was that?
It was
Friday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, I wake up. I'm doing
Come on,
my
tell
thing.
it like tell it like you're really telling a story.
Okay.
So what happened?
So Tuesday morning, I wake up and I just go about my day. I wake up. I eat a Snickers.
No,
No,
really?
you didn't.
I had like a
Wait,
mini
was this
Snickers.
Oh, because it was
Halloween?
day after Halloween.
Yeah, it was Halloween.
Okay.
It was Halloween. So I have like a mini Snickers I steal from like my grandma's stash for all little kids.
Okay.
And I go upstairs and I start working, and I just my heart just starts racing, and I'm like, I'm probably just having anxiety. So,
But do you have anxiety?
I don't think so.
Is that like, have you experienced that before?
Yeah, once or twice.
So your heart's like racing.
Yeah,
while
but
you're at
that's
your
why I'm like,
computer.
it's just anxiety. Like I've had this before. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
done, and then after an hour, it doesn't stop.
Okay.
And so after an hour, I'm like, maybe there's something wrong with me. I'll go to like the urgent care, get checked. And my grandma's like, oh, where are you going? Like the kids are gonna start coming soon. I'm like, I'm running groceries. I'll be back.
Running groceries.
Running groceries. And so I hop in the car, and I'm like, oh man, it feels really weird to drive. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be driving, but I'm like, I'm not gonna call an Uber. That's like $22. I don't have that. I don't have
So,
that money.
so your
you're
heart's like
calling.
pounding or like shortness of breath or what were you experiencing?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. I walked to my car. I was like, oh, wow, I'm out of breath. And the back of my neck
Oh.
got really hot. And that's only happened twice in my life. And both times I like fainted.
So you're like, let me start driving a vehicle.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, it's fine. I'm sitting down now.
How far is the urgent care from your house?
It's like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. And so I hop in the car and I'm going. And this is like the longest drive of my life.
Of
Like it
course.
feels so long. I'm like going down Merrick Ave and Merrick, and I'm just like, God, I'm like, I should just turn back and go home. Like I'll be fine. I'm overreacting.
Okay.
And I get there and I get to the urgent care, and so someone sees me, and the guy keeps trying to make and he won't tell me anything about any of the like tests he's doing either. He's like, oh, your blood pressure is like 135 or something. I'm like, is that good? He's like, the doctor will discuss that with you.
Ugh, I
And
hate
I'm like,
that.
all right, that doesn't make me feel any better. And so the doctor comes in. He's like, hey, I'm Doctor what's his face, and we're gonna, what's wrong with you? And
Was
I
he a
said-
white doctor?
Yeah, white doctor.
Ah,
And he had a
he
mask
doesn't
on.
know anything.
He had a mask on too. And so
That?
Well, this is an
overweight.
urgent care doctor. They're not the same.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, well, if your heart's racing, like we'll do an EKG and then see what's up. And I do an EKG, and it's this kid. This kid's giving me an EKG, and I can tell it's his first time because he keeps going on his phone, and I can see from his phone because he's angled
YouTube?
off. He's on Google. He's like, proper sticker placement for
Oh
EKG.
my God.
And in this one day alone, I had like 5 EKGs. So I was like, this was my first one ever actually.
Okay.
And I was super nervous. I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna hurt. I don't know what's about to happen to me.
Yeah.
And so I do the EKG, and it comes out wrong apparently. So now he has to take all the stickers off, put new stickers on me, do it all over again. And I'm like, God, like I just want to know what's wrong with me. Like my heart's, I'm getting more nervous
now,
by the
yeah, now you're
second.
more worked up.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're fucking it up, and
Mhm.
I'm nervous now. I don't know like what's going on. You're not telling me anything. And so he does it again, and he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he looks at it again, and he looks at me, and he's like, I'll be right back.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, all right, this is not what I want to happen. And I hear like a bunch of whispering outside the door, like 3 people all together. And they're like, all right, you go in, you go tell him first. And I hear a knock on the door. The doctor comes back in, And God, it's like the two like worst things you could say back to back. He's like, "Don't panic. You might be having a heart attack." And I'm just like, "Oh, that's
my
not great."
God.
He's like, "You should go to the hospital." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Do you want me to call you an ambulance?" I'm like, "Fuck that. I'm driving myself."
Yeah, it's like $5,000.
Yeah, I'm not paying for
No.
that.
I mean, you probably have insurance, right?
But they're not going to cover an ambulance.
They don't.
I feel like I don't know. I've never been in an ambulance, but I feel like everyone always says it's $5,000.
Okay, so keep going.
I'd rather just get an Uber.
Yeah, I just drove myself. And like they're like, he's like, "Do you have any questions for me?" And I'm like, "There's literally nothing that I want to know the answer to right now from you."
Oh my God.
And so he's like, "All right, but before you go to the hospital, let us print you out a packet." I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I take the EKG he gives me and I go to the hospital. And I go to like what's it called? Mount Sinai South Shore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the shore is, but it's south. So I go, I
Okay.
drive 10 minutes to the hospital. And in the car I'm like freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm surprised they let you drive.
they're like, "We highly recommend you don't drive." I'm like, "There's nothing you can do to keep me here.
Okay.
I'm not taking an ambulance. I'm not going to call my grandma either because she's going to freak out."
Yeah, you don't want to like upset her.
Yeah, so I text my uncle. I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to the hospital. Tell grandma I'm going to the, visit my friend in the hospital or something."
Yeah, because you don't want to worry her.
Yeah, and I get there to the hospital. I check in, and the nurse on staff is like nice, whatever. She like takes me to like the triage room is what they call it, and then she gives my EKG to another nurse, and she's reading it, and she's asking me, "So what's wrong with you today?" I'm like, "I don't know." It's like the one question I keep getting asked. She's like, "Your EKG looks a little weird. Let's put another one on you," and then they put one on me, and this one comes out normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they don't tell me that. So in my mind, I'm still like freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not telling me anything. So they take me to the ER room, and all I see is old people that are like on like the verge of death. And so
Mhm.
this doesn't make me any more calm,
Right.
Yeah.
And I get to the bed, they put me in like, first of all, I didn't even know that you couldn't get a room in the ER. I didn't know that you like had to be on like the side somewhere.
Well, they were probably booked up.
But I'm like, it's Halloween. Like, who's having a heart attack
Dude,
on Halloween?
ERs are always packed.
That's crazy.
I don't like have much experience with ERs.
Yeah,
there's
this is
usually
my
a
like
wait.
second time in the ER ever, and so I go in and like I sit down. They're like, "All right, we're gonna give you an IV," and I'm like, "Why do I need an IV already? Like we're not."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And the nurse that gives me the IV, it's her first day ever, and she misses my vein 5 times.
Stop! You didn't tell me this.
Because I was just like, I don't want to think about it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And she
pretend you
just
didn't
keeps
know.
poking me and poking me. I'm like, what's the deal? Can we get someone else to do it? And finally, like another nurse comes by and does it for me, and gets it right. And this nurse is like, sorry. Then she walks away. I never see her again. And so I'm just sitting there for the most part. And I think this is when I texted you and Kyle, and I
So
was
when
like,
you text us, you were like, "Can we get lunch when I get out of the hospital?" And I was like, "What?"
I didn't know if I was like, I don't understand the joke. Like, is this an inside joke that we have? And I forgot what it was. I was like, wait, you're in the hospital? You're like, yeah, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, I can't tell if you're serious or not.
Yeah. Then when he said that, I called him and he was like, "Yeah, I'm in the hospital."
yeah. And then right after that, I get taken for an X-ray, and like that also was just like a weird experience because
What the hell's an X-ray gonna show?
Their
I don't know.
chest. Or, I feel like they always do that, like an x-ray on your chest. And you're like, what's the point of this?
In
Like,
case
you're not.
you have like a broken chest plate.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
broken rib. And that's why you're like, it's
they're
so
like, "Don't worry, you're not gonna get any radiation from this." As they both stand in the other room while I'm getting my X-ray done. I'm like, all right, well,
I'd be like freaking out. I'd be like, unnecessary radiation, not getting this done.
yeah. And then I guess after that, I just go back to my bed and I'm just sitting there for a very long time. And I'm like just doing work, I guess, because there's nothing else I can really do.
Are you feeling better at this point or the same?
I feel fine, relatively. Feel relatively fine at this point. And then I guess I'm just sitting there, and then Kyle shows up out of nowhere.
Surprise.
Well, because when you texted me that, I was like, "What the fuck? He's in the hospital for a heart attack," and I was like, not far from there. It was
Mhm.
like running around. So I was like, I'm gonna go. And I don't think I would do that. Like, you know how you do favors for everyone constantly? Like, you're always like driving people to the airport and stuff.
No, I'm
and that's
not.
something that I really don't like about you. Like how you're always doing favors for people. But I'm not like that. But when you told me you're in the hospital, I was like, oh my God, I felt like my son is in the hospital.
It was cute.
So I was like, I gotta go. So I went to the hospital. And I mean, I wouldn't do that for really anyone outside this room. No, but very few people. But then I was happy to see you. And then once I saw you, all right, I didn't stay very long.
No, yeah, you were gone. But I was just uncomfortable because I was like, oh, I'm going to start crying because you're here.
Well,
And
you were
you
probably
didn't-
embarrassed because you were like
I
being
was
a
so
pussy.
moved.
Really?
I was so moved.
And you didn't tell him. You just you're like, I'm just gonna show up. I'm just gonna show up and whatever.
I went to the front desk and I was like, is this person here? Because you sent a picture of your name tag and it was like, I'm looking to see my nephew.
Did you really say that?
Yeah.
Why? Because you thought if you said family, they'll let you in.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you would leave soon because I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can hold back these tears.
Oh my
I'm,
God, I
like,
feel like
so
you're
moved.
serious.
No, I am.
Oh my God, stop.
I was like, I can't let him see me cry. I'm just not gonna say anything.
oh my
And
God.
he's like, you okay, buddy? I'm like, yeah.
that is so sweet.
Then I told him, I was like, well, before I leave, now that you're starting to make some money, if you don't make it out of here, what are you going to do with all your money? I wanted to ensure that like maybe he'd leave it to me.
That was probably your motivation for going.
Yeah, that
I
was
wrote
it.
him into the will just in case.
So he made a will.
Yeah, and my notes.
So then what did they say? Like, how did it end?
Well,
No-
I mean,
no
I
answers?
just sat there for like another 4 hours,
Oh.
and I like the cardiologist finally comes and sees me, and like my aunt is married to a cardiologist as well, so they're
Of
like
course.
talking back and forth. And so they're talking back and forth with the cardiologist there, and he's like, yeah, your heartbeat was definitely very abnormal, and they said I was in something called atrial fibrillation, which is, from what I was explained, it's when the top part of your heart is beating faster than the bottom part of your heart. And so because of that, it's kind of like fluttering. It's not beating very hard. So a lot of blood is pooling in the top part of your heart. And that's dangerous because that can cause a stroke.
Oh.
Oh my God, it'd be so annoying if you had a stroke but you weren't dead and you were just kind of like couldn't do anything.
Yeah, like Steve Hawkins.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
like, we'd have to like, oh, how you doing, buddy? And we'd have to like cater to you.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to you through a computer.
Yeah.
I'd honestly just be like, kill me at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
We'd
too.
probably be done with you. then.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be
How could I
super
blame
annoying
you?
for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
It
could I
would
blame
be.
you?
It'd be bad for the podcast.
I would go through like all sorts of degeneracy at that point and make money. But they were like, I don't know, they were doing ultrasounds on my heart. They're like, your heart's fine. They were like, we honestly have no idea what's wrong with you. And so they sent me home with the same medicine my grandma takes for her heart. And I was like, there's no way I'm taking
So
this.
now when
So did you take it?
No.
All right, good.
So when you walk into your house and grandma's there, are you just like, hey grandma, what's up?
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, what's up? And she's like, what happened to you? Where you been? I was like, oh, I had a panic attack.
Is that did you tell her you went to the hospital?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just had a panic attack. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she just goes about her day.
She's like, I got my own shit to worry about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. She's like trying to read the paper. She's like, what does this mean? I'm like, oh, it's just random anxiety stuff. They have me on Lexapro. And she's like, I don't know what that is.
Is that
Aw.
true?
What?
Did they give you Lexapro?
No,
Oh.
they gave me my grandma's not on antidepressants.
Is she?
No.
Oh.
And so they give me metaprolol.
So
I don't know.
can you do jujitsu or not?
I can. I mean, I was cleared by another cardiologist on Friday.
So they said you could go. It was just a freak thing.
Yeah, they're gonna put me on a heart monitor for like a month.
What does that mean? Like, what does that work?
It's like, you know what a whoop is?
Yeah.
It's like a whoop, but it goes on your chest.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just
You
gonna
wear it when you
track
train?
Yeah,
All right. That's good.
yeah,
That's annoying.
yeah. That guy was like, we have no idea what's wrong with you. Like, you don't match any of the criteria to be.
Maybe it was
having
just
heart
like a weird
attack."
thing.
I hope so.
Have you feel fine since then?
I felt okay. Yesterday was a little scary. I think I was just anxious because I'm like, oh, what if I fucking die?
Well, then you're like overthinking it, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're like oh my God, what's my heartbeat? Oh my God, what is it? And then that alone will make it go higher.
Yeah.
When I have something like wrong, I always like what's it called where you like
Hypochondriac.
no, not hypochondriac, where you think of
Hypochondriac.
something and then you feel it more and more. Like if you think your like leg hurts.
Overthinker?
Oh no, I know
it's called something.
Manifesting.
No, it's actually psychosomatic. Psychosomatic.
Manifesting.
Do you know what psychosomatic?
No.
You've never heard of that? Psychosomatic
No,
is like
yeah.
you're thinking like, oh, I have liver failure, and then you look up symptoms of liver failure, and then like you feel those symptoms or whatever.
It's like almost like pathological lying to yourself with illnesses.
And then you believe it should be real. I haven't had something like that in a while, but I used to think of stuff like that.
Yeah, you haven't like had a like fatal disease in a while.
Yeah.
I think the last one you had was leukemia.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, he always thinks he has like. I'm like, no,
I was having like night sweats for a minute.
Yeah, he was like having night sweats. I think it was just like we had the heater set too high, and he was having night sweats. So
this
he was
years ago.
This is like a year and a half ago.
No, it wasn't. It was before COVID.
And then he was convinced that he had leukemia.
That is so.
And then like for me, I was like, you don't have leukemia. You don't have leukemia. And then I'm like, I gotta stop because what if he does have it? Then he's gonna be like, I told you so.
Caitlin has zero tolerance for any of that nonsense.
For injuries, illnesses. Yeah.
You really do.
I really do.
Like if you're actually sick, you're sympathetic.
I mean, part of me, like, I know this sounds messed up, but I get a little bit of pleasure out of it when you are sick.
Like when I had COVID bad.
That was almost too bad. But when you're a little sick, I don't know. There's something about it. I like taking care of you when you're sick. I like when you're like have a fever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want you to go through that, but if I know it's like something like a fever where you're going to be fine in 24 hours, I like taking care of you when you're sick.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, you do a good job.
But I don't have tolerance. Like, I don't know why, and I wish I wasn't like this, but it annoys me when I hear people complain about injuries or illnesses.
You do, especially like jujitsu related things.
Oh.
Like if someone has like a torn meniscus, you really have no tolerance for that.
No.
Or like a sprained ankle.
When people at the gym complain about injuries, I have zero tolerance. Because one, it's just like, who cares?
Yeah.
And when I have to hear about someone, I know so much about every person in the gym's injuries. And it's like, most of them don't even require surgery. So like
a sprained LCL really rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, sprains I don't want to hear about. Sprains, don't talk about it. Like talk about it to your husband or wife at home.
Not even.
Maybe.
Especially LCL. I always feel like that's one.
I feel like it's just like a made up one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think
you don't want to hear about it.
I don't want to hear about people's injuries. It's just so annoying. Like if it's hurt, then don't come. Like
I feel like sometimes in jiu-jitsu, it's like a point of conversation.
Yeah, it's like a how's the weather?
Sort of.
I hate when I start training with someone right before the round start. Hey, do you want to roll? Okay. Yeah, I'll roll. Oh, you got any injuries? No, I'm training. Like, that's a big part of like if you roll with someone. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah.
Hey, okay, you want to roll? Okay. They slap hands. Boom. Do you have any injuries? What? Like.
Right.
But then I'm like, I'm not asking you if or when someone's like, hey, this happens too. If someone, it'll be like a big guy, a guy that's like bigger than me. I'm like, all right, let's train. They're like, oh, can you just watch out for my knee? I'm like, all right, I'll just find someone else.
I do the same thing.
I will not roll with you if you're.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll tap. I'll tap.
If you are like a grown man and you're telling me to watch out for one of your injuries, sorry, I don't have time because I don't want to be responsible for that, and I don't want to have to like cater to your like, is it left or right? I'm training. Like I'm not like, I don't know. I just feel if you're hurt that bad, then don't train.
Kaylin actually made a really good point the other day. We were talking about someone at the gym, and we won't say any names, but who does like kind of like small talk a little, maybe too much, like during training and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's not so bad. And she kind of like snapped up really quick. She's like, well, people don't understand. I'm not there on my lunch break. That's my job. Yeah. I'm there. That's my job. Like, I don't have time to like
That makes me
small
sound
talk
like such
in
a
between
bitch.
rounds. But no, then I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like even from my perspective, like I take it serious, but it's certainly not my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you could say like coaching is like kind of like a job, but
Yeah.
it's nothing like training. Like when you're in there, you're like in 100% focus mode.
Yeah.
Like you don't have time to like small talk.
I don't
in
have time to
between.
talk
Oh,
about other
yeah.
people and like what like you
It-
know what movie they saw, unless it's after training or if I bring it up. But if there's someone that like I don't feel like talking to, I'm training. I'm thinking about what I need to do so I don't get knocked out in my next fight.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
not there to talk about your kid's like school function.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting thing because our gym, I think, is like one of the best jujitsu gyms like in the country. Like, and
Mhm.
it definitely is. But on any given day, there's there is a few UFC fighters there every single class.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's 30 people, obviously any gym, if it was only catered to the best UFC fighters in the world, you'd only have like 3 or 4 students. So the majority of the class is just people like just going on their lunch break and stuff.
Hobbyists.
And they're like amazing at jiu-jitsu, a lot of them.
So good.
But like the mindset going into it isn't like, well, I have to do this jiu-jitsu practice and then I have to leave right away and go right to striking or go home to relax and eat before I go to strength and conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so sometimes I don't think about, oh yeah, right. Everyone's got like a completely different
yeah,
mindset.
there's
So
such a
you're,
big
like,
spectrum of like of goals for people on the mat at the same time, and it doesn't necessarily. I mean, there's people that are hobbyists that are like at jujitsu, we're on the mat and they're could fuck me up, but the mindset's different. Like sometimes, and I feel bad because I know I could come across as bitchy, but it's my job and it's how like, and it's not even, not to sound like super dramatic, but me being annoyed and like listening to your stuff, like a conversation I don't want to, and putting me in like a different headspace, it could be the difference of me like being distracted, not paying attention, and getting hurt the next match or the next round or something like that, or whatever. It's just my time to focus, and it is my time to be selfish and be like not have conversations I don't want to.
But yeah, like your headspace going into any practice is so different than anyone else's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other.
Well, as I'm rolling, if someone's like doing a position, I'm literally thinking like, fuck, this is like the 4th time I got stuck in this position. If I get stuck in the position in my next fight, I'm gonna lose. Like, this is so bad. Like, and I'm like, I gotta really think about how to get out of it. I'm not just like, haha, yeah, good roll, I didn't get submitted today, or I'm having fun, or yeah, my LCL kind of hurts, but I feel good today, you know?
Mhm.
No, it's like serious things are on the line and in my head. So like, I don't know, like I said, I'm not trying to like come across as like such like a hardo about it, but it is a lot more serious for me than other people.
Do you notice that because you had taken some time off and, not a fight announcement yet, but it's certainly imminent, now your mindset has changed going into it than when you were like, all right, I'm taking some time off? It has to, right? 'Cause
like
when you were like almost in like a civilian headspace for a while, probably, right?
No, like the light switch goes off in literally like 1 second. Like, it's like, okay, if there's like potential, if this is like, hey, I'm not fighting, it's not like, I think I have a good ability to be able to like switch my mindset like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I'm, if this is what the goal is, I can be there. And then if I need to switch it, no matter what my feelings are and how I feel about anything, I can switch it on like right away. And I think for me, like, there's no easing into it. I'm either on this side or this side. I'm either a hobbyist and having fun and trying new things, or I'm thinking about doing everything I can possibly do so like I can have the best outcome.
Do you prefer going into the gym with one headspace or the other?
I mean, the past like couple months that I took off was probably the first time that I've taken off in like my entire life. I've never really, even when I had shoulder surgery, I mean, I guess that would have been time off, but the entire time I was like biking, doing every single thing I possibly could. And my focus was on the rehab, which is almost like a camp, but not having like an injury, like a surgery injury to recover from, and just being like, that was like really the first time in my life that I've ever been like, okay, I'm coming in as a hobbyist. I mean, it was fun for like 2 weeks, and be like, oh, it's cool. I can come in, just no pressure. And then I'm like, oh, well, what's the point,
Right.
But I think for, when I would train in jujitsu and if I'm taking time off, like there was things that like I would try to get better at that really I wouldn't waste any time. Like I could be like, oh, let me play with a couple like lock situations because that I've never really got to focus. I've always wanted to focus on that, but I just never really had the time to because of fighting. It's, you know what I mean? I just didn't have the time, especially like me fighting is so active, but that was like the first time that I've taken off in like pretty much my entire life.
Right.
I mean, even you could argue like, I mean, when I was 15 in high school, I was fighting Golden Gloves. I was always in fight camp. Even like before that, when I was, 8 years old, I was doing karate competitions. Like in my mind, when I was like 8 and training karate, it was the same as me now training for a fight. Like I thought that my like local karate tournament, I thought it was like me fighting main card of pay-per-view. Like I took it that seriously. So like I've, after a fight, when there's like that month of like, oh, I can kind of do whatever I want. But like, this was the first time I've ever like had time off and not knowing when the next time I was going to fight was.
Yeah, it's interesting. But when you said that day, it was like, I don't want to be a bitch, but this is my job. I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like someone having like, I don't even know what this, like a big board meeting or something in like a conference room and me going in and being like, so, oh yeah, I just got coffee today. It was so good. So what are you up to? Did you watch the fights this weekend? You'd be like, wait, what are you doing? This is so inappropriate,
Right.
Maybe that sounds a little extreme, but to me, it's the same thing.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. But either way, no real tolerance for weakness, injuries, sprained LCLs. But we definitely were sympathetic and scared for our beloved Zane.
Just hanging in there.
Even that, like, I didn't want you to be in the hospital and experience this, but I kind of like that you like texted us, and I don't know. I like that. It like was really cute that like Kyle went and you guys were at. We should put in. I think you guys sent me a selfie of you guys.
It was so shitty. I didn't want to like. I did it like low key.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like pose for it because we were like dying and the other beds. So I didn't want to like pose for a selfie. So it's kind of like shitty quality.
Yeah. But
I mean, who else would I tell? I don't have any other friends.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even tell my girlfriend until I got out.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
I was like, I feel so beta for telling you that my
That
heart.
is kind of beta.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not gonna tell you
heart.
till it's done. I didn't tell my dad till like yesterday.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't tell like your family anything.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't even know you train jujitsu.
They don't.
That's not true. Your dad doesn't know you train jujitsu.
He doesn't.
Really?
We haven't talked about it at all ever.
You got a weird relationship.
I say I'm going to go work out, or I'm like, oh, I'm going to work, which technically isn't a lie. Technically not a lie.
Technically,
I guess.
What else? We got anything else?
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is how I kind of got into like a rabbit hole of like abandoned neighborhoods.
Oh yeah.
And I found one. I sent it to you. I found one in it's like 7 miles outside in Ohio, outside of which was that, Cleveland?
Outside of Columbus.
Columbus, same shit. Outside of.
Do you know where Ohio is on a map?
It's next to Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm a PA girl.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I fought there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like I saw this town, and it was like an abandoned town, and when you look on it on like the video of it, it looks like a nice like cul-de-sac with like, matching houses all lined up. And they said in like the 1990s it started like it was like a nice neighborhood, and then it started going downhill, and like all the houses started getting kind of run down, and you see all the houses and they're all like abandoned now. They said it like someone,
it's like a ghost town now.
like a ghost town, which I think is like so crazy. Like they were all like big houses too. They weren't like, it didn't look like a shitty area.
Yeah, I was into stuff like that for a while. There's other places like
How
that.
I've never heard of anything like that, especially
I
being
think
like
that place you're talking about is Windcliff, Ohio.
yes, Wincliffe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just like one thing goes wrong and another.
But how does
and then
that
crime
happen?
gets in, and then eventually it just
If it's that close
goes
to
away.
Columbus, then I'm surprised like people don't just move in there and they're not just like a full like village of like crackheads.
I'm sure there's some.
Yeah.
Or why is it totally abandoned?
I mean, I don't know. The picture on TikTok looked like it was
There's a place in
abandoned.
California called the Salton Sea. You ever hear of that place?
No.
You ever hear of that place? No, you don't know anything. The Salton Sea was like, it was this, I think like some dam or something broke and it created like this lake in California. And in the 1950s, I think, they were like, oh, wow, now there's this lake in the middle of California. We could build a community around it. And they built like, it was like a vacation place, but in California, but it was like the Hamptons sort of, but for
Okay.
California. And it was like a thriving place. And then this lake completely dried up. It
Okay.
just totally evaporated. So then there's no reason to live there. Now the house, that's just a complete like wasteland. And there's like fish and stuff in there. So there's like thousands of like fish bones and
Oh my
everything.
god.
Yeah, it's the creepiest place in the world.
Do
Look up
people are the
Salton
houses
Sea.
abandoned?
Yeah, there's houses there still. Yeah,
That's
they're
wild.
totally abandoned. But there's places like that, like abandoned cities and abandoned.
I just thought it was weird that it was like that many houses all together. I'm like, I've never heard of anything that's like this.
Yeah, I love places like that.
Yeah.
There's a place in Pennsylvania like that too. I think I forgot what it's called. But yeah, there's places like that.
That's gonna be my new like rabbit hole this week. Just
Yeah.
searching abandoned cities.
There's an abandoned city, but not abandoned, but it's like the richest city in the world in terms of like architecture and stuff. But it's called Ashgat, Turkmenistan, which is like near
Say what?
Afghanistan. The country is called Turkmenistan. The city is called Ashgat or something.
I've
Ashgat.
literally never heard of Turkmenistan.
There's fighters in the UFC from Turkmenistan, but it's this whole city is made of like marble and gold. It's like the most insane city you've ever seen, and it's pretty much abandoned. There's not abandoned, but vacant. But the guy who's like the dictator or president of this country has like all kinds of crazy rules for it. There's no dogs allowed. Every car has to be white. Every building is white. Every car has to be white.
I like that as far as like from the aesthetics point of view.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
So wait, if you have to have white cars, that people live there,
Yeah, there's a few people live there.
but not a lot. There's a
Not-
lot
like
of them.
government officials and stuff, but it looks like Disneyland, but like a real city.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's a vacant city basically. Not totally vacant, but enough for you. Like skyscrapers made of like gold and marble that are vacant.
That's crazy. Because I would say if it's vacant, then when people just go in and like steal gold,
Oh, they're like it's like on the buildings.
you bring like a hammer and just steal a
I
chunk
think
of
it's pretty
gold.
strict.
Yeah.
They don't even allow dogs.
Do you think they allow trans?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Hmm.
Very strict. Every month, the
Wouldn't be a good American tourism.
No, the dictator. The months of the year are now. He changed them. It's not like January, February, or whatever it would be in their language, but now it's like named after members of their family.
That's cute.
Like January would be Caitlin,
Ugh.
February Zane, March Kyle, and so on.
Pablo.
Yeah,
That's
I'd only
cute.
have like 3 or 4 months.
Huh?
I'd only have like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, you don't know that many people. It would be
Yeah.
us.
That's it.
Yeah.
3 months. Yeah, there's weird places, but
I
you
don't-
could go. I mean, what is this, a TikTok thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you could go on crazy rabbit holes.
Well, I'm
of
about to. I
places.
just found out about this.
Yeah, there's
I
all
feel
kinds of weird places.
I feel like you, me, and Zane should go to this one in Ohio. It's not that far. We should go there and like do a little
vlog.
Yeah, we should vlog.
I feel like Ohio's like boring. How exciting could it be?
We can go see Dante, your boy.
He's in Toledo.
Is that close?
Not really.
We could go train and check out this abandoned city.
You would love to go see him. You guys are like in love.
Yeah,
Something
right,
that-
Zane. You're the biggest groupie I know.
What are you talking about?
You're a groupie of Joseph Chen.
That's my boy.
You're a groupie.
I'm not a groupie.
You definitely are.
I would say Dante's your groupie.
No, we're friends.
I'm not a groupie.
Caitlin's
Nah,
not a groupie.
not a groupie at all.
No one.
No.
I mean,
You're like the epitome of fuck that guy.
I mean, like, if I saw, like,
Who would you get a picture with?
who
Like,
would I
who
get
would
a
you
picture?
ask for a picture? Obviously not like anyone. Who would you ask? Not just fighters or
I
anything.
mean, there's
like,
no
no, not
fighters.
that. That's not what we're talking about.
Who would I get a picture with?
Yeah, like, who would you go up to and say, "Can I get a picture?" You tried that with Hezbollah. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, Candace Owens,
Okay.
Kim Kardashian, any of the Kardashian. Not any of them, but Kim or Khloe or Chris.
Okay. How about Caitlyn?
Yeah, Caitlyn, I would. Same name.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Dillon.
I feel like you should be friends with him. You don't know him?
I love him.
You've tried to be friends with him.
I try to.
He blows you off.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate, yes.
But that's like, we know that already.
Oh, I'm asking.
There's not, I mean,
there's a lot right there.
yeah, there's not many, like, because I just, like, I don't know. Not that, there's a lot of, like, celebrities that I like, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to bother them. Like, what's I'm gonna, oh, can I get a picture?
Yeah, it's pretty tacky.
What about your boy Zika? Zerka?
No. No one even know who that is.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of if there's.
I think I took a picture of you and Eddie Bravo once, didn't I? Did you
Yeah.
ask him for a picture?
Yeah, we did. But
I
that
would
was,
only get a picture with someone who I think is funny.
But I think I kind of did that
Like
to
as
be
a
funny.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could find that picture.
I feel like I saw it not that long ago. I could probably find it. Who else? Like, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, not many
You don't
people.
get too excited.
Oh, there's a lot of people that just like. No, I can't think of off the top of my head that I would do the picture just because it's funny.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's like funny to send, but there's not many people that'd be like, "Oh my god, that's so
right.
cool." Can you introduce? Yeah.
No one like that, but
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Not into like athletes. I just think unless they have like a personality or something like athletes, I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm
Right.
an
They should get a picture with you.
not that I don't think that, but I'm just like, well, we do the same thing, so it's
Right,
not like
right.
I don't know. And then yeah, that's probably pretty much it. Trying to think. I was really looking for. I wanted a picture with Andrew Tate really bad when at the UFC Abu Dhabi. A couple of the fighters got pictures with him. I didn't see him. I don't know if he went to the fight. I think they saw him at like an event
Right.
during fight week. So I was like really excited. I was like, oh my god, I want to see him and I want to meet him and take a picture with him.
At that fight, I got a picture with Liver King. That was the
Oh.
only person I've ever asked to take a picture with, just because I thought it was hilarious. But that really.
Oh, I
did-
like getting pictures of you and Bruce,
Yeah, but
but he like knows you.
the picture with Liver King didn't really age well.
Yeah, no.
Now it's kind of that's not that cool anymore.
I feel
But
like
at the moment, he was huge.
I'm trying to think who else you got if there's someone else that we've gotten pictures with before. I don't know. That's probably pretty much it.
Yeah, probably.
Zane, who would you get a picture with? Definitely no one.
No one.
You probably get a picture of some random like jujitsu person that no one's ever heard of.
Last person I ever asked.
Okay, that's cute. Who would you ask for now? Yeah. I feel like you would never. I feel like no one.
Oh, I don't even like when people know.
Yeah.
Keep all my friends.
You are so private.
I like it.
I'm surprised your Instagram's not private.
Zane's Instagram picture is me sleeping.
Yeah, that's
People don't probably know that. Every once in a while, I'll see Zane like pop up Instagram, or I'll have to message him on Instagram, and it's always a different picture of me sleeping that you send him.
But
If you guys search Zane on Instagram, you'll just see pictures of me sleeping.
It's confusing because when I am in a group chat with you guys and then I have to read the name and I can't just look at the picture because it's two pictures of Kyle coming up, so it gets
Well,
confusing.
the one that's sleeping is not me.
Well, I know, but it's like when it just comes up and small, so you can't really tell.
that's just 'cause like you're the only person I would want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
I
can't
always
think of
he's
anyone
fucking
cooler.
with me.
You always think that, dude. Whenever I say that, I mean it.
Zane, I got a raw milk plug.
I saw that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that gives me a stomach ache.
I know.
Yeah, isn't like I don't know much about that stuff, but isn't like
It's illegal.
Yeah, I like thought that like pasteurizing milk was actually like good for milk and your
Zane.
consumption.
Don't talk to me about this
You're
stuff.
so mainstream, Zane.
What are you talking about?
You're probably a baller.
What's a baller?
You're a baller.
What's
Yeah,
a
you definitely are. Baller.
What's a baller?
Oh my god.
We'll save that for a Tim Carpenter episode. If
Or
anyone
you-
knows what a baller is,
You guys are
Comment.
not getting Tim Carpenter on the podcast.
comment on this podcast. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye guys. Zane.